District 46, parts of Southeast and Northeast Portland. Thank you for allowing me to testify in support of House Bill 3349A and to give the context for it. Oregon has a severe housing crisis, resulting in such statistics as being first or second in child homelessness, depending on which study you look at, and fifth lowest in home ownership rate in the United States, where we've slipped from 69% in 2004 to roughly 61% in 2018. There are multiple factors for this, including a lack of adequate ongoing funding for affordable housing. We are one of just a few states, for instance, that bans the real estate transfer tax, a source many states use to fund affordable housing. While we have gradually been increasing our investments over the last 2 biennia, most of these investments were one-time funding and little has gone toward home ownership. In 2017, the House Human Services and Housing Committee passed several home ownership bills with bipartisan sponsorship and unanimous support. These included the continuation of foreclosure prevention and 3 new programs for down payment assistance, home ownership grants, and home ownership repair and rehab. The foreclosure program was reduced from the previous biennia, and the other 3 bills were not funded due to lack of resources. Out of the roughly $45 million requested for these homeownership programs, just over $1 million was allocated. We made progress in 2018 in partnership with the Oregon Realtors Association and many housing groups when we passed House Bill 4007, which launched a means-tested first-time homebuyers tax deferral program and tripled the document recording fee. The doc fee increase is bringing roughly $60 million more per biennium, of which about $8 million goes to OHCS homeownership programs. But this is a drop in the bucket compared to the need. This brings us up to the 2019 session. While we have been providing one-time emergency funding for EHA, Emergency Housing Assistance, and SHAP, the State Homeless Assistance Program, over the last 2 biennia, the governor has proposed raising the CSL from $10 million a biennium to $45 million to provide more adequacy and stability to this fund. She has several other initiatives that require new funding, including for permanent affordable housing, workforce housing in rural areas, technical assistance for tenants and landlords, and $20 million for programs helping homeless children. Legislators are also working hard to address affordable housing. We passed several bills on to Ways and Means, including several from Representative Marsh. Hers include energy-efficient loans for manufactured homes, grants to decommission old manufactured homes, loans for manufactured park preservation, and home ownership repair, rehab, and weatherization. Other housing bills have gone from my committee to your revenue committee, such as tax credits for manufactured home parks and the property tax deferral for seniors and people with disabilities. Some housing bills have gone directly to your committee, such as the capital gains tax exemption for property sold to housing authorities and nonprofit CDCs for the purpose of affordable housing, and a tax credit to help homeowners convert large homes into duplex, triplex, and quadruplexes. But there is little general fund for any new housing bills. A common theme for this session, as Representative Smith-Warner well knows, is that new initiatives must have a funding source. This is where the mortgage interest deduction comes into play. While we put $10 million continuing service level into emergency housing assistance and the state homeless assistance, and we scramble for tens of millions of dollars for various programs, we devote $1 billion per biennium to the state's largest housing subsidy, most of which goes to upper-income Oregonians. 60% goes to the top 20% income bracket. In 2017, we proposed House Bill 2006 to reform the MID, resulting in a favorable editorial from the Oregonian, which I have listed on OLS. House Bill 3349 is an even more modest proposal. It will eliminate vacation homes, means test the MID by gradually phasing it out between 200 and 250,000 AGI per household, same for individuals and couples, and redirect those funds to a new Oregon Housing Opportunity Fund at OHCS for programs that build affordable homeownership and prevent homelessness. While our Human Service and Housing Committee passed the Bill 5-3, our committee unanimously passed 3 amendments. First, to change the date of when DOR estimates the revenue savings, as per Deanna Mack's suggestion, Second, to allow homeowners under the income threshold to receive the mortgage interest deduction on a second home when they are trying to sell their first one. This was an issue that came up in our hearing, and we thought that that was a very fair issue to address. And the third, where the funding would go. While the original bill directed funds to current OHCS programs, that's Housing and Community Services, the amended bill includes new programs that have surfaced over and over again in the legislature, only to fail due to lack of funding. These are in the bill on the last page and a quarter or so you can see it, but I'm just going to call out a couple things. Under Affordable Home Ownership Program, it can fund programs that include but not limited to revolving loan fund to build new affordable home ownership options, critical health and safety home repairs, weatherization, and seismic upgrades for existing homeowners with low and moderate incomes, particularly for veterans, people with disabilities, or seniors aging in place, living in site-built or manufactured homes, and loans to low and moderate income homeowners to build ADUs for affordable long-term rentals in communities where rental vacancy is under 3%. The homeless prevention programs will include permanent supportive housing for families, housing and services for youth aging out of the foster care system, and support for families to achieve family reunification after involvement in child welfare. I've provided many links on OLIS, links to a variety of local and national articles talking about the ineffectiveness and the regressivity of MID. I want to remind you that we are only looking at the very top percent. There's another document that Kyle, thank you very much, provided me with what percentage of people are under 200,000 statewide. There are 96.1% of people who are under 200,000. That means that less than 4% of people would be affected by this. And 2.4% of people are over 250,000 joint filers, joint or individual filers, which means only 2.4% of people would lose it entirely because of the means testing. So thank you so much for allowing me to speak. I know we have a lot of speakers behind me. Happy to answer questions, but you probably want to hear others.